So there is an unfortunate story of racial profiling that went down in Michigan, in which there was a black realtor who was giving a home tour to I believe another black person who was looking to potentially purchase the home. And basically, what ended up happening was the police were called, and they had a bunch of police come with guns, waiting for them to come out. And obviously they were not criminals in any way, but they were racially profiled by police. So it says Michigan police handcuff black real estate agent, prospective buyer at home showing. A black real estate agent and a prospective home buyer in Michigan said they were racially profiled when local police officers suspected them of intrusion and put them in handcuffs during a home showing. The real estate agent, Eric Brown, told local NBC affiliate Wood TV that he was given a tour of a home in the Grand Rapids suburb of Wyoming to Roy Thorne and Thorne's 15-year-old son Sunday. Brown, an agent with Grand Rapids Real Estate, said he arrived at the two-story home in the overwhelmingly white neighborhood that Sunday afternoon, and as he does for all houses he shows, opened a lockbox through an app on his phone that held a key he could use. After Thorne and his son arrived, Brown began the home showing, telling Wood TV that during the tour, Thorne eventually looked outside and noticed there were officers there and were pointing guns towards the property. Thorne, an Army veteran who is also black, explained that he told his son to get out of the line of fire and opened a window to address police officers. Thorne said that police eventually instructed the three of them to exit the home in a single file line with their hands above their heads. Once they got outside, the men said that the police officers put all three of them in handcuffs. They keep their guns drawn on us until all of us were in cuffs, Thorne told a local news outlet. So that was a little traumatizing, I guess, because under the current climate of things, you just don't know what's going to happen. So I guess there was a previous burglary, and so, they called saying, under suspicion because I guess they're black, maybe they fit the profile, or, they were clearly racially profiled in this situation, it's unfortunately, I think, an experience that black people go through pretty often. You see this kind of thing where, obviously it's a, majority white neighborhood as well, almost entire white neighborhood it appears. And so this is another way that a lot of times you'll see some de facto segregation going on where areas are, entirely white or entirely of one race. But there are a lot of things like this that are, issues. Like, for example, there was a study a while ago, like I guess 20 years ago. There have been studies consistently that have explained that if you have a black sounding name, you are less likely to get a call back to be hired for a job or for an interview for a job. Controlling for all factors. So even when you control for all factors, just the fact that you have a black sounding name is actually going to hold you back potentially from getting a job. It says researchers from the University of California, Berkeley, and the University of Chicago sent 83,000 fictitious applications for entry-level job postings to 108 Fortune 500 employers using randomly assigned and racially distinctive names. They found that distinctively black names on applications would reduce the likelihood of hearing back from an employer by 2.1 percentage points relative to distinctly white names. And it also explains that, like, certain firms accounted for, like a small number of firms accounted for a hefty amount of the discrimination. There's also studies consistently that find that black people are, I guess black men specifically, are sentenced to more time for the same crime when controlling for all factors. It seems, a lot of people put it on the judges after the U.S. v. Booker case that gave judges more leniency. But when doing more research into the studies on the issue, it seems more to be the case that it's actually the federal prosecutors that are more bringing charges disproportionately that carry federal mandatory minimums against black people rather than white people. So it seems like the discrimination actually went down after U.S. v. Booker. So it doesn't appear that that's necessarily the case, that's why it seems more to be, racial, bias from prosecutors. So you see these kinds of things going on. These are things that, people like Republicans continue to deny, the idea that racism doesn't exist, which is insane. Or, if you want to say that's a straw man, a a charitable take would be that Republicans think that, I don't know what you would say, that racism isn't significant. I don't know how it's insignificant when black men get more time for the same crimes, or black sounding names get less callbacks for job applications, and you've got black people, black real estate agents showing a home, giving a home tour in a white neighborhood, and, having the police come with firearms pointed at them. It's an extremely traumatic experience, and it's an absolute tragedy, man.